LangGraph, a Python framework for building AI agents, built by the same team behind LangChain, and the two are layered together. LangChain gives you the components, LangGraph gives you the runtime those components actually run on. It represents an AI agent as a graph instead of a straight line. Every step is a node, every decision about what happens next is an edge, and because it is a graph and not a chain, it can loop, branch, wait, and pick back up exactly where it left off. Okay, that's cool and all, but what exactly made LangGraph continue to gain popularity steadily over time? Well, LangChain's own research found that over 60% of production agent incidents come down to state management failures, agents losing context mid-workflow, repeating steps they already finished, or crashing without any way to recover. So LangGraph was built specifically to fix that issue. That is also why the companies running it are not hobby projects. Lincoln built an AI recruiter on top of it that handles candidate sourcing, matching, and messaging. Uber uses it for internal developer tooling. And Klarna, probably the most cited example in the entire ecosystem, put LangGraph agents in front of customer support and cut average resolution time from 11 minutes down to 2. And to understand why LangGraph is such a big deal, let me show you the way you'd build stuff without LangGraph at all. Say you're building a research agent, something that takes a question, searches the web, reads through the results, and gives you an answer. The traditional way to write a script is like this one. You start by calling a search API, then get back a list of URLs, loop through each one, scrape the page, check if the content is useful and not some misinformation campaign or clickbait, and if it is, you write another branch of logic to try a different query. Every one of those decisions, retry this, skip that, stop here, becomes another if statement nested inside the last one. And 6 months later, nobody, including you, wants to touch that abomination. Now watch what the same logic looks like as a graph. You define 3 nodes: search, scrape, and evaluate. And instead of nesting your retry logic inside the function itself, you draw an edge from evaluate back to search that only fires if the evaluation says the results were not good enough. So basically, the control flow that used to live buried inside your code now lives as visible structure that you can look at, understand, and reason about easily. That edge I just drew back from evaluate to search is what we call a conditional edge, and it's the mechanism that makes LangGraph different from a normal langchain call. Instead of every step leading to exactly one next step, a conditional edge runs a small router function that looks at the current state and decides where to send the agent next. Maybe the evaluation was good enough, so it routes to finish. Maybe it wasn't, so it routes back to search with a refined query. This is the same branching decision you'd usually bury in an if-else block, except now it's a first-class part of the graph's structure. Okay, now let's move to the last bit. LangGraph attaches a checkpointer to your graph, and every single node execution gets its state saved automatically. So picture the research agent 3 steps into a 5-step process when the server restarts, or the process crashes, or you just deploy a new version of your code. Without checkpointing, that agent starts completely over. With a checkpointer attached, it resumes from exactly the node it was on, with all its state intact. That is durable execution. And listen, none of this means you should reach for LangGraph on every project. If what you're building is a straightforward question and answer pipeline over your own documents, one call out, one callback, LangChain by itself, or even the plain API call is simpler, cheaper to maintain, and easier for the next developer to read. LangGraph earns its complexity the moment your agent loops, branches based on real conditions, or needs a human in the loop before it continues. Below that bar, you're adding structure you don't need yet. And to learn all of this, you need to have mastery over Python and AI concepts so you're not just third-party between Claude and the codebase. And the best place to learn all of that stuff is Scrimba, the sponsor of today's video. Scrimba is a learning platform that's reinvented the way to learn programming. They created a technology called scrims, video tutorials where you can pause and directly edit the teacher's code inside. I've never seen anything like it. What I also like about Scrimba is you'll learn by building real-world projects across front-end, back-end, full stack, cybersecurity, and even AI. And they just released a brand new 4-hour course on Python, which is a must no matter what field you're in. They also have a ton of free content you can start before deciding to upgrade to the Pro plan, which unlocks everything. Check out Scrimba using my link in the description and unlock an extra 20% on Pro if you upgrade later.